get up. So yes, I gotta find a good way to interact with the chat.
So 2 quick things for chat. One, we're doing all the donation goals in USD, so that was a question that I saw that we didn't have time to answer. The second thing is, we've already passed our next donation goal as well. I'll get to that in a second. Let's just save these files and stuff.
Yeah, you guys really did a lot better than we were expecting during that recording. So we're going to be... In fact, the retrospect is probably going to have to wait for like 10 minutes while we do all these bits.
Our next segment that we're doing is just a kind of talk about Pact in general that we're going to record again. I mentioned the final episode. That's what this is. Just talking about Pact. We'll chat to the stream as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about some of the miscellaneous Pact stuff. Should we go through some of the donations first?
Yeah. Let's catch up with the donation backlog.
So
where did we finish off?
We saw Kyrgyzstan, who said pilot season stuff.
Yep.
We got the question from Leon Collier, DDev, who said, "But fuck, marry, kill." We've already done that.
Yep.
So next, Elliot, you have to drink some of the Forsworn drink from Aqua Buddha.
Okay.
Thanks, Buddha.
It's just a nice mix of gin and whiskey. I did this to myself.
Yeah.
Because you said you were putting in whiskey beforehand.
No, rum.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Gin and rum. A classic GNR, we call that.
It's a weird smell.
I kind of want to try it, but I'll wait.
I'm sure you'll get a chance.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, just cop. Shit.
Did it just drip everywhere?
Yeah. The water's catching on. Okay.
Classic. Well, thanks, Buddha.
Thanks, Buddha.
You fucked him.
Oh. That is a weird concoction. I don't mind it, though.
Wildbo's joined us in chat. He's saying he's thanking us for the journey. Thank you,
Thank
Wildbo.
you. Yeah.
Of course.
That's,
Yeah. Cool. So next was Ishimoridan, who has asked Elliot, when is the full spoilers reread?
I keep tossing and turning about doing something like that because I
doing a deeper impact.
I mean, because this is a story that's just begging for you to go through it again.
Yeah.
Like there are so many completely flip on your head twists.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a break before I promise anything, but like, I don't know what form it'll take, but I do want to go through the story again at some point.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. So we're not sure on that one. We'll see. I think is the answer.
Yeah.
We have Buddha's already there. Kipos has donated to get us to do some Green Eyes fan art. We'll put that one down. We'll do a batch of fan art stuff. There's another fan art I saw, so maybe you do one and I'll do one. And we can...
do we have anywhere we're jotting these down?
No. You better just... Maybe in the all packed up run sheet is a good way to...
Yeah, I'll just make a new doc.
All right, while Elliot's writing that down, Kyrgyzstan has... box, so let me go get the box. I'll be right back.
Okay. Kipos wanted Green Eyes fan art.
Yes. Should we do this in Ominous's box drawing now?
Yeah. So who's drawing?
Kyrgyzstan has told me to draw.
Oh, yes. Go for it.
So we've drawn a curse from Ominous's box. These are all just kind of miscellaneous weird activities. We'll see how this goes. Oh, it's Pact charades, guys. Pact charades.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to do a charade for everybody. And
I'll monitor the chat and
well, you have to try and guess.
I'll forward guesses for chat. Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to go. So we've also got a cup full of just like Pact characters and concepts, and that's what we'll be doing from. So that's good.
Okay. Get the chair out of the way.
Oh, this is a really hard one. I don't know if people can hear me, but it's
hold on. I think the mic went out for a bit.
Oh, no.
Okay. Get the chair out of the way. That seems to be back. Right. Sorry, apparently our audio's out for a bit.
Dodgy audio. Alright, I've got my charade. Just let me think about how I'm going to do it.
Yeah, so in case we missed it, I'm not sure when our mic went out. Ruben will be doing Pact character charades. Mm-hmm. So put your guesses in the chat and I'll be reading them out.
Okay. Alright, okay. What's the symbol for syllables?
Okay, wait, hold on. The audio's back, but it's really low pitch. You need to skip it.
Ah, it's doing that again. Do you want to just unplug it, replug it?
Yeah. Why is this happening?
This is where it's normally plugged in. Why does this happen?
Okay, I unplugged it and plugged it in again.
Shall we just check that it's...
Yeah. Let's just give it a sec.
Do. What's the symbol for syllables? It's like this, isn't it? You do like this for syllables.
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Unplugged it, plugged it in again.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Sounds
Right.
good. Okay.
Right, so 2 syllables.
Okay, yeah, so 2 syllables.
Alright.
So have you started? Or
No,
is
just
that...
I'm thinking. It's a really conceptual one. It's a really conceptual one.
Okay. Yeah, Kyrgyzstan's guessing prey. I agree, Kyrgyzstan. That is what that looked like.
Okay.
Okay, so cut, like, okay, Barbatorumed. Getting Faisal, Karma, Barber.
Shit.
Vestige, Rose.
Oh, someone got it.
Oh, Vestige?
Yeah, it was Vestige.
Okay, congratulations, Lean Collier.
That's DDev.
That's DDev? Okay.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
How do you do a vest? I couldn't figure out. I was going to go first syllable like a vest, like a sleeveless
Oh,
vest.
I like that, yeah.
But I didn't really know what to do.
I think you did pretty well.
Well, someone got it. So that's
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
All right. Thank you, DDev. Thank you, Kyrgyzstan, for that. DDev has also donated $10 to say, we got to get some more stuff in that Forsworn drink before Aqua makes one of you drink it. Well, we've missed the boat a little bit on that, but let's do it anyway.
Yeah.
Why
Do
don't
you
I
want
add some
to
stuff to
go add something to it? Yeah.
I'm going to add tonic water to it. Oh, it's empty again. You drank all of it earlier. Oh my god. You are
Wait, is that not the point? I thought I was meant to empty it.
I'm going to add 2 things to it.
Whoops.
Where's the actual drink thing?
I left it down there.
I'm going to do a rum and tonic.
Okay, that's a unique choice. I like it. Let me look at these donations here. So we've got this is DDev. We've got to get some more stuff in the Forsworn drink. That's what Ruben's doing. Old Iron Eyes. Save the question for later, but you guys made a lot of parallels a long time ago between the entrenched practice and late stage capitalism. Given how things ended, do you think those parallels hold up?
We kind of touched on that already.
Yeah, I think so. I think, not to make it sound like it's some like revolutionist propaganda piece, but like Pact is arguing for you to say, hey, just because things are okay, or just because these systems are entrenched, it doesn't mean you shouldn't fight to make things better. Like, or not even fight, just like try. Like,
yeah,
the onus is on us. Like, these systems are entrenched because we let them be, and if we want things to be better, all we have to do is to try and make them so. And like, I mean, we're not Americans. Like, I know there's the whole American election coming up, and this is a
very apt metaphor.
Yeah, it's a big thing over there right now. And we don't really have our fingers in that pie, but
I mean, it applies here to a lesser extent.
Oh,
we
absolutely.
have our own political woes.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think it holds. Like,
yeah,
we tried to avoid talking about it too much because we didn't want this to become a political podcast.
Yeah, but it's hard. I mean, it feels honestly, and I think we talked about this during the show. It feels the most like it has the strongest political message. Maybe that's just us reading into it a bit, but it feels like it's talking a lot about explicitly things in the world get pretty dark sometimes, but the goal of working towards this kind of positive outlook, like, and the epilogue kind of shows that the argument Wildbow is putting forward here is, yes, that you can make a difference, you can make a change.
And you should try to. Like, Pact kind of lands on the Blake did make a difference, but you could even argue, even if he didn't, like, trying is what
Should we
matters.
record this for the wrap-up bit? We haven't kicked that off yet. The like wrap-up on Pact, the next segment.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing
Let's
now.
finish this off first, I guess. Let's finish off the donations.
I mean, I've already restarted the recording of the thingy,
Oh, okay.
so it's going to be in
I'm
that
not
video.
recording the audio, though.
Oh, no, that's fine. We only need to record the video for the rest of
Okay,
them.
cool.
Yeah.
Next we got a donation from Menolion, a $10 donation, which entitles them to get one of us to add to the drink, but they didn't mention it. So Menolion...
Well, you just did it, so I'll do it.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Okay, we also got a donation from Cyberhomes, who says, draw the Behaim's timeless armor. I really like that. I'm going to add that to our list of fan art to draw. Timeless armor. All right, thank you, Cyberhomes. We'll get to that when we do the fan art in a little bit.
It's going to make up some coke.
We also got a... What did you add to it?
Rum.
Elliot, more rum, huh?
Yeah.
All right, so now it's got 2 shots of rum and about a shot of tonic water in it as well. Are you putting Coke in it as well?
Not right now, but
Okay.
I want to have the option to later.
So it's getting real nasty. We got a $20 donation from Molly, who I don't think did any.
Is that Molly, like, do you reckon that's their actual name? Or is it a reference?
So Elliot asked, do you think that's their actual name or a reference? I don't know the answer to that, Elliot. Molly did not put in their description anything. So if you are donating and you want to do one of the donation rewards, folks, please do in your description put the stuff about the reward, because otherwise we can't really do it. We need to make sure that you pick one of us for some of them, stuff like that. Same for Funderfulness with a $100 donation. That entitles you to make us do an episode on something. So if you want to write in,
Feel
maybe
free to hit us up afterwards.
yeah, feel free to hit us up afterwards. Is probably best.
Message us somehow.
We also got a $100 donation from Some Ragamuffin, who wants us to do an episode on Neil Gaiman's The Sandman. So kind of a first of a beat by beat on that. I really like that. That's a really good idea.
I've been meaning to get into that. So
Yeah, me too. All right, cool. I'm going to make a list for these pilot season ideas as well.
Yes. So we had Twig from Kyrgyzstan,
Yep,
right?
so Twig, Kyrgyzstan, and we had Sandman, yes. And that was from Some Ragamuffin. All right, cool. Another fan art request from Aqua Buddha, who is carrying the stream a lot. Good work, Buddha. Buddha is saying to draw buttsack while talking about how great Love Lost is. So that's good. Maybe
It's the Discord leaking.
maybe we. There was a lot of Love Lost versus Ratcatcher in the in the stuff there. Perfect. And someone's asking. Actually, Bird. What I assume is Bird. Someone called a bird on a motorcycle is asking, Elliot, where did you get that Ward logo shirt?
Oh, my sister gave it to me for Christmas. A year and a bit ago now. I think she made it herself, as in she even made the image in Microsoft Word because she's a real tech head. So it was a Christmas present from my sister.
So Funderfulness has let us know what they want their pilot season idea to be. It is something called Empire of the East, which I'm not sure what that is, but we'll look it up and we'll do an episode on it.
Yes.
Empire of the East. Okay, cool. I'll put that in the donations feed as well.
Yep.
Cool. We got a donation from Synths, $13.30 donation. I'm not sure if that's for anything specific. Drunk Peter has said for me to put more into the Forsworn drink.
Okay, off you
I'll
go.
do that in a second. A bird on a motorcycle donated $1.33 and said, penis.
Penis. Ah, shame we
Classic.
didn't get that in the episode.
And Jaso, misspelled Josh, I always think of this as. I don't know if that's
I
what I
pronounced
meant
it
to.
just so.
Just so,
It's
yeah.
a Discord member, so yes.
Yeah, I recognize the name. I don't know how to pronounce it now that we actually have to pronounce them. Jaso has donated $86.08, so thank you for that.
Wow, thank you so much.
I'm going to do a bit more on the Forsworn drink.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to
What do
start
we got?
updating
It's
our
a
milestone.
rum tonic.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
I made the cola up, but I didn't put it in yet. Okay.
we got to go to the abyss, Elliot.
Whoa, let me
Where did you
update.
put the cola?
In the fridge.
I'm going to add that. Actually, no, I'm going to add something alcoholic and torturous.
Where's
Is there
the
whiskey here? Is this a whiskey? Yeah.
Where's the milestone stuff?
No whiskey. Sorry, it's in there. There's a lot of windows. Yeah, I'll do it in a second. All right.
So we're gonna have to aim for this one now.
We now have a rum, tonic, and whiskey.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to leave that with you. I can't operate that MacBook.
That's fine. I'll take care of it. Okay,
It keeps
so,
right clicking for me.
So we've already passed the $400 thing as well, haven't
And
we?
the 200.
And the 200. Okay, so I'm gonna set us up. What are we at? $667.
Yeah, let's aim for the 751.
750, which is
Deep in Ward.
there we go. Oh, Buddha, thank you. Perfect timing.
Glad we have the ability to watch out for those.
I know. So our next milestone is Deep in Ward. We're going to do a bonus episode where we dive deep into Ward just once, just as a holistic thing.
Yeah.
There we go. If we reach $750,
Because I think Ward's ending soon. No spoilers,
see.
but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Based on the arc title, Buddha has just said that I need to drink this drink, so we'll get to that. Do I have to drink
Thanks,
all
Aqua.
of it, or
I don't know. It was only
feel
2
like-
shots when I did it, so it was a bit more reasonable.
I reckon we should drink a solid chunk of it, but we want to actually this thing to keep filling up.
What's
over time.
chat saying? Hold on.
Yeah, chat. Do I have to drink all of it or just some of it? Uh-oh. Drunk Peter has also donated money. I think that means I do have to drink all of it. Okay, we've got 2 donations for me to drink it, so I'll just have to drink it all.
Okay.
Oh god, it smells really terrible. I just want chat to appreciate this cup that we got. It says Unicornio on it, and it's got a big unicorn.
Definitely was not an impulse purchase. Whew, okay. Well, I think we're
This
about
cup
ready.
is so bad. It spills everywhere.
Yeah, I know. Turns out 50-cent cup from the reject shop. Not good.
All right, folks. I've been forsworn. That was really not very nice.
Mine
That
was
was
actually okay.
I
Gin,
mean, I really like rum, so
Yeah.
it turned out all right.
Gin
But the
and
whiskey
rum.
was really strong.
you could do worse.
Gin and rum. We were inventing new things.
Yeah.
Here. See, that's the thing about humans, Elliot, is their capacity for change.
Yeah. Well, so have we caught up now on the?
Yes, we're caught up on donations. We need to go to the abyss. Also, we never mentioned the 400 goal that we passed. So the $400 milestone that we just completely got past very quickly was doing a bonus segment later in this live stream. We're going to dive into poke.
Yeah.
So we've unlocked a little bit of extra content
Yes.
later on in the show. So we're going to do a bit of a poke dive.
Yes, there will be a poke.
Do you want to change that on the schedule as
Yeah,
well?
I'm gonna change that right now.
I'll explain sending us to the abyss. I'll just go get the props.
Yes. Okay. So, well, I'll get started as I'm doing this. Something those of you who've read the story will remember is to get into the abyss on purpose. You have to sacrifice something with value.
Yep.
That has meaning. And so that's what we're going to be doing to try and open up a
We're
portal
going to try
to
and
the abyss.
open up a portal to the abyss by sacrificing things that have some good sentimental
value to us. Yeah.
So, I guess I'll talk about mine,
Yes.
which is a toy from my childhood. It was a toy. My parents, I guess, got me a lot of toys when I was younger, and I was really into Toy Story. It came out, right around. I think Toy Story 2 came out a few years after I was born, and I liked Toy Story 1 as well. And so, I have this toy of Rex, who was my favorite character. Sorry, I realized I'm not holding him to the thing. So I'm gonna smash this toy.
Yeah, mine's not dissimilar, honestly.
Yeah,
I don't know if
actually,
I've really talked about this much. Oh,
I should mention we're basically being Sid from Toy Story. Everyone is really upset by this.
Yeah, I mean, so mine's not dissimilar. I don't know if I've ever really talked about this even on the Discord. I'm a bit of a collector of the Nintendo Amiibo.
Yeah.
I have what I consider to be pretty much a full set. Link's my favorite character. I love Zelda, and
Yeah, you actually do have a full set.
so
yeah, we're in trouble now. We're breaking one of your set.
I'm going to be breaking one of that complete set.
Now,
Yeah.
tell me, is this one hard to get nowadays?
I hope not.
Okay, good. That's fun. We got a donation from Kipos, I think it was. Oh no, it was Kyrgyzstan. Sorry, who says $10? Don't destroy the toy. Oh, but Hero of Loving That Blake won, which is Hero of Old Iron, says add some water to the Forsworn drink. So that's fun.
Okay, if I had some fizzy water.
Add some sparkling water. Thank you.
We're
Hero.
classy here.
Yeah, we're classy. We're doing it up. It's all right. We'll destroy the toys. It's fine.
Yeah.
Everyone really wants us to not go to the abyss. It's just part of the fun, guys. Live
We
streams are
don't
about
know
culture.
that this will work, and if it doesn't, it's because Ruben, his
I
thing
fucked up.
clearly isn't precious enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, should we break these things?
Stellated Hexahedron donated just so we had to say their full name, so that's fun. Yeah, we have a hammer. I mean,
Yes.
how
Well,
do you break a plastic? This
how
is
are we
like
gonna do
hard
this?
plastic.
I think we should pick up the camera and point it at the floor. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna have to switch to handheld mode, I guess.
Yeah, sorry, we're just gonna go to walkabout mode.
Yeah. Okay, let's do this.
Oh, even Wildboy thinks it's too cruel. If Wildboy thinks something's too cruel, you know you've done bad. Oh man, those 3 shots are starting to hit me. Hey, we're about to make our bonus episode goal as well.
Should you just do it on the chair there? This camera doesn't go too far.
Okay. What do we want to do? Like, put it on here?
Yeah.
Elliot, I don't know about this anymore. I hope my parents aren't watching. They would be upset at this.
Did that do anything?
This guy's tough. Let's go for the head. It's really not doing anything.
It's trying.
Jesus Christ. All right, let's try this.
Jeez. This is an early start on that Twig podcast.
I think he's invulnerable. I can't do it. Elliot, I can't
do you
damage
want me to have a go?
Okay, let's do a curb stomp.
Man, they don't make them like they used to.
Yeah, I know.
Jesus.
All right.
Do you want to hold the camera?
Yeah,
for a
sorry.
bit?
I'll
Sorry,
hold the camera.
sorry about the shake.
I feel like I should destroy my own toy. But
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll switch to mine then.
Yeah, let's try that. I mean, this is going to be much easier to break.
You'd think so.
Sorry, it might not. Yeah, you're looking at the wrong one.
yeah,
Put
okay.
that one. You got to hold it. It's just going to bounce. Get his head. Get his head. Yeah.
I'm getting the shield.
His shield
first.
is protecting him.
Not anymore. Oh, there we go.
Oh, shields come loose. These are really solid toys. We expected this to go a lot easier.
There's a little.
We've broken his leg. We've broken his leg.
Yeah.
That's good. Does that count? I mean, we didn't open the portal, so I guess
I
not.
don't see any portal.
All right, let me try mine again.
Yeah,
take
okay.
this. I feel like I'm lighting a fire. Is this head meant to turn around? Or is it?
I don't know.
No, it's meant to. Okay, never mind. I actually have made no damage to this thing. I mean, we're making some gaps. I'm definitely doing some damage.
Yeah.
Let's try and get this in there. I mean,
how long do we push
how
for
do we
this?
do
I
this?
think,
all right, I feel like we've done all right.
yeah, well, we did what we could.
Yeah.
Man.
He is durable. Fuck. I mean, this goes to show things can really last from childhood if they're all made. Oh, God.
Let's get that up, pointing in the right direction.
All right.
Did we miss anything while we were engaged in toy destruction?
People want to call the Aussie cops on us. It's 000, by the way.
Yeah, 000 down here.
Yeah. People are hurting it, thinking it hurts them. I mean, I think we failed that goal, right? I feel like
sorry, everyone. We tried.
Everyone was quite upset by it, which is fair. This is kind of a bit upsetting to me as well, but he survived. He made it through. All right. Oops. What do we got? Yeah. Liu86 says it hurts us more than it hurt Rex. We got another donation from... what do we get? We got a donation from Buddha, a $2 donation saying, "Don't kill Link, I'll give you more money and a Figma toy." Do you know what that is?
I don't know what a Figma toy is.
And Synth says, "Can we take back everyone's donation? These toys did nothing wrong." My favorite thing about this is actually it's what the villains from Toy Story would do. So we're actually just being the villains from Toy Story. I'm sorry, Rex. You survived though. You made it through.
Sorry, Link, you didn't.
Molly is my real name, sent in $10, and Smemen, who is Sahibum7, who I remember from a lot of our comments, has donated $15 saying, "This was a fun ride. Thanks for doing this and giving me an excuse to revisit one of my most favorite stories. This was a fun ride and I'll be dipping in and out of the stream. Bracket, I am weak. Close bracket. Looking forward to the different segments. Stay strong." Thank you, Sir Hyberman.
Yeah, and thanks. Like your comments were some of the best ones. I remember those.
In the meantime, we have hit the bonus episode Deep in Ward milestone.
Yes,
we are
fantastic.
smashing these milestones. Our next milestone is, yes, of course, a perfect milestone. That joke will make sense because.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If you don't like terrible puns like that, you might want to skip all of the meal segments that we're doing. Yeah. Oh, and yeah. Okay.
Because it's a perfect milestone. Now we'll jump back to the
joke. The chat guessed it.
Yeah, because we're doing a deep dive into Mile End.
Yes.
Bonus episode on Mile End. Thank you, Kipos, for guessing that. That's at the $1,000 amount, so we just need about 220 more bucks, and we will reach that. D-Dev says, Elliot and Ruben go run a mile. No, that's too difficult.
This is about emotional damage, not physical damage. We picked that
the
one
only
part.
physical damage we do is to the toys. Okay, so let's do our retrospective on... I mean, we've been going... We're going to run a bit behind schedule, but that's all right.
Yeah, luckily this is a bit of a flexible thing.
Let me get this set up.
I mean, does anybody have any questions?
Well, let me set up.
Oh, okay. You actually want to record this one? Okay.
Yeah, because we're going to release it as an episode, right?
Right. Sorry. Yes. Mile End, for those who don't know, is a Pact dice game Wildbow has been running. I think it's on hiatus at the moment, but yeah, like there's a bunch of docs that kind of cover what's happened, and so we're going to kind of go through those and talk about what's been happening in Mile End. It should be a bit fun, like tracking an RPG game versus like a specifically contrived story. I think will be a fun little variation on the usual formula.
Yeah. Let's get 5 seconds of quiet.
Okay.
Hello and welcome back to Deep in Pact for one final time. We are here to talk more about Pact as a whole, dive into everything. We're going to be talking about our thoughts about the entire show. We're going to be talking about miscellaneous questions that we get from chat.
Yep.
And we're just going to talk about Pact for, 40 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah, a bit less than we anticipated.
We're running a little bit behind schedule already because of too many donations.
Yeah, our audience is more generous than we anticipated.
Yes.
So yeah, those of you who are watching live now, start hitting us up with questions, I guess. The chat is more busy than I expected, so we'll do our best to keep up. But yeah, let us know. What do you want us to talk about? We basically got half an hour of just looking back on the show and the story.
I think let's dive into the first thing, which is at the end of Pact, you click that link that says next. That link that normally takes you to the next chapter.
Yep.
Sorry, the Forsworn Drink is starting to hit me. You click that link that takes you to the next chapter, and it takes you to, from the epilogue, it takes you to this Word of God kind of retrospective that Wildbow wrote on Pact.
An afterword.
An
I think
afterword.
is how it's phrased. Yeah.
Called Pact Sealed, which is a great name. Love it. Love some good puns. I think we should talk about, the vibe that we get from Wildbow during that.
Yeah, I mean, reading that now
it's
made me a lot more interested to talk to him in a few hours.
Yes, so we're doing an interview with Wildbow in, 12 hours? Something, I don't know.
A bit over that, yeah. Just sort of because... And I mean, there were a lot of comments. I think Wildbow often had the top comment under a bunch of chapters as we're reading through.
Yeah, especially towards the second half.
Yeah, and there was a lot of other stuff going on in real life that seemed to be impacting, I guess, his ability to write as much as he would have liked.
Yeah.
I mean, the afterword was kind of negative. I guess.
Yeah, no, it is. The response, the reaction that Wildbow seems to have of the story is that he feels like he let people down by too many things happening in his real life that distracted. And just kind of the story as being something that is kind of bleak for a lot of it, really kind of feeling kind of overwhelming in that perspective.
I do, I think that's the thing. I think, some people have said, Pact is the most uplifting Wildbow work in a way. And again, neither of us has finished Twig.
Yeah, true.
But you can see there's that dissonance, I think, between people who finish Pact and people who don't, because the ending to Pact is so rewarding because the story grinds you down and then finishes in a it was all worth it way.
Yeah.
And you can see why people who make it 3/4 of the way through and drop out, why they would just be left with this sense of this is a story that just constantly like beats you down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, if people drop out, they don't get that relief at the end
Like
of the
there's
story.
a huge catharsis for the last 5 chapters of the
Yeah.
book, and you would be missing that if you drop out early. So I get why people who dropped out halfway just see it as a story that's quite negative.
Yeah.
I think there were always signs. Like I know maybe it was because I've read Worm and I was mostly up to date in Ward for all of it, but I was like, I don't think Wildbow's the sort of author who's going to end this story on, yep, it's all shit.
Yeah, and then you're all fucked forever.
Yeah. So I was definitely working through it with this hope that things were going to get better.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it did. And but I can see why that dissonance exists. But definitely, I think the afterword is probably something we'll start to touch on a lot in that interview with Wildbow, just because it'd be interesting to see what
how his
changes
thoughts
might
have
have happened in
changed.
5
Yeah,
years,
totally.
or what hasn't, and just sort of talk about a lot of that stuff, because it was definitely interesting to read the afterword after reading the epilogue.
Yeah.
And what I thought was a great ending, and Wildbow just sort of going, well, this has been a learning experience.
Yeah,
And-
exactly. That's another thing that's in there, is he reflects on it as a learning experience of learning the kinds of things that he likes writing about, doesn't like writing about, is good at writing about, is bad at writing about, that kind of stuff. And it's interesting how little that came through in our podcast diving through it.
Yeah.
Like, we never thought, there was never a comment, I don't think, that I can remember. I mean, there are a few where we were like, oh, maybe it could have gone this way instead of that way, but we never really thought, oh, this feels like Wildbow is exploring something new and it didn't quite work out, for example.
Yeah, I think there was maybe the one bit, and like in the afterword, it was briefly mentioned. One segment of the story dragged on longer than I intended.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably
Presumably
Toronto.
the Toronto arc, yeah.
And like I do think maybe looking at Pact structurally, there's maybe wider sweeping changes I would make to a published version than like Worm or something.
And that's what Wildbow says in the
yeah.
thing as well.
But those are like, I guess it's a symptom of serial writing, I would say, more than a real critique. Like, they definitely didn't bother us much as we were going through the story. So
Yeah, and looking at it at a holistic level, like thinking about the story beats that we hit in Toronto, I'm thinking like, it starts out with a conquest contest and that kind of goes, that actually like twists about 2 or 3 times in what it is. And I can see how that potentially would feel like it was dragging on, but it felt like that was the plan from the get-go. Maybe that's not what the plan was.
I can maybe just see how it took up a larger chunk of the story. Like Arc 8 did a lot of heavy lifting of reintroducing us to Jacob's Bell, because we've been gone for so long.
Yeah.
And that was part of the reason I suspected maybe Toronto went longer than was expected.
Yeah.
But I can also see why it did. I think the amount of stuff that started to be addressed in Toronto was maybe more than well, but it was like one of those things where you just start writing, and as you find more stuff to play with, there's more to do.
That's the thing about Toronto is really, I mean, when we compare it to Jacob's Bell, we've got characters like Laird, we've got characters like Alistair, we've got the Deschamps, we've got all these really interesting characters. But in Toronto, they felt more like exotic almost. Like this vibe of, we've got Diana, she's the astrologer, we've got the Sisters of the Torch.
Well, Toronto was, I think, in part, our sneak peek at how much bigger this world is.
Yes, exactly.
Like Jacob's Well is a small town, and that was emphasized to us by how much bigger and varied everyone in Toronto was. But that also made them too interesting.
The practitioners in Jacob's Bell felt more like traditional practitioners. You know? Like they're enchantresses, they're chronomancers, they're people who are working with the fundamental systems. Whereas in Toronto, you've got like Jeremy, who's like a god of being drunk. And like all these weird characters that really specialize in a really out there thing. And it felt so interesting to see more of these really weird styles of, or like the shepherd, who is such a weird character that never really gets dived into that much. You get enough to be like interested, but not enough to really understand.
Yeah, exactly.
I honestly, I think Toronto is one of my favorite parts of the story, which is insane to say because all of the parts are my favorite. I really love Arc 13 where Blake is going around killing all the Deschamps husbands.
I think Arc 15 will have to be my winner. Just the set pieces of the library, and the possession. Like getting the 2-for-1 in that
and
arc.
Barbatorum getting possessed, going into Johannes is so awesome. And Blake kind of cutting out his eyes.
Just in terms of a bang for your buck, I think you can't go past Arc 15.
Can we talk about... This is maybe a bit of a stupid comment, but also I've had the Forsworn drink, so that's fine.
Sure.
Pact as a story just has so many like the word that springs to my mind is epic, but the way it was used like 5 years ago, like epic, like boss, elite moments,
Yeah, no, totally. There were, this was a story that had woven into the world a way to make story tropes real, and it used that.
Yeah, God, it's so good, isn't it? Should we dive into a few questions?
Yes.
So the first question we got here, and I'm going back through chat a bit, so I'm sorry if it seems like we missed your question. We'll try and get to it. If we missed it, just post it again. That's fine. The first question we got is from Ishamoridan, who asks, and this is a fun one: what's your goblin name? If you were a goblin, what would your name be?
It's definitely like
this was revealing some home truths. I think.
Yeah, because we're doing that poke segment later. Now that we hit that goal, and like that revealed some interesting stuff about how goblin naming. I think that we'll dive into.
Yeah, true.
But to get so it's not really something you get to decide for yourself.
Oh,
so maybe we should name each other.
Maybe we should name each. Oh, this is weird. I feel like
this could go. This could go very bad. I regret saying this.
I don't know. I honestly don't know what negative trait I would pick to exemplify.
Because there's too many.
Yeah, too many. There's way too many. No, I mean,
it's already going negative.
We should touch on this, right? Like, we've been friends for 5 years.
Yeah, 5-ish years. Yeah.
And it's good. I'm really glad that I got you as a podcast host.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad you
asked
talked me into starting Media MD.
Yeah. Was that my fault?
Yes, absolutely.
Slash idea, depending on how you think about it. I don't know. I feel like all of the things I'm coming up with are like fairly generic, like cum guzzler.
Yeah,
which isn't like a specific trait.
So maybe we should just go back to, well, not that you know of.
Sure.
Maybe we should go back to just coming up with ones for ourselves. I'm just trying to think of the most disgusting thing. Unfortunately, I read Poke in like the last 2 days, so all the most disgusting images I can think of just relate to whales and what you can do to whales.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything gross that hasn't been touched on in a goblin name.
I'm gonna say Beast Sucker. How about that?
That's not bad.
Beast Sucker.
I like Beast.
It doesn't feel vulgar enough for
Beast isn't
Beast
bad
Liquor.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Beast Liquor. How about that?
Yeah.
And that, of course, is based on what I know of it. No, that was a joke.
Yeah.
Just to, on the record, legitimately.
yeah. Phlegm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Taking a shot at my audio quality. I
Phlegm
like it.
shoveler. I didn't think of that. I was trying to remember, what's the name? No, you know what? Never mind. I don't want to ask that question.
Yeah.
We might come back to that if I can remember the name of this stuff.
Maybe we'll talk more about goblin names in a bit. The next question we got was from it was from Buddha.
I found it.
Oh, yeah, cool.
So something like Smegma Liquor or something would be a good one. I'm really glad we went ahead and found that how to flag things as not safe for work on Twitch.
No, I'm glad we flagged our Twitch streamers NSFW. We got a donation from Drunk Peter. Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
$50 donation saying, do a fan art of the MVP of Pact to the defenestration boogeyman. We'll get to our fan art pile soon, I think. Maybe after this segment. We've got 4 fan arts to do. Yeah. Look, our schedule's getting pretty packed. That's spelled PACT.
Yeah. I'm sure they got it.
Yeah, just spelling it out.
Yeah. I don't think we quite anticipated
Aquabuddha.
I don't know that we anticipated how much
quite an active chat.
And how much we'd have to do these things. We forgot to fit them into the timeline. That's our bad.
Yeah. Whoops.
We're going to try and fit them in when we can.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. Next question from Buddha as well. Wait, sorry, was that from Aquabuddha? No, that was from Drunk Peter. Fan art request. Sorry, I got my names mixed up. Aquabuddha says, Aquabuddha loves you is the correct name here. Sorry. Asks, who is your favorite character that is not Green Eyes, Blake, or Evan? I mean, I'm going to say Peter, but I feel like he's high tier enough that he should be ruled out as well.
Yeah.
And without Peter, I think it's Jeremy. I absolutely love the idea
Jeremy's
of Jeremy.
A good one.
The idea of a guy who put so much into making this bid for power and fucked it up. And because he fucked it up, he impacted Sandra, right? Who obviously kind of was in on his bid as well. And it just led to this weird situation of this kind of broken man as we met him at the start. But then afterwards, he goes on this journey of trying to redeem himself by saying, no, you know what, I'm down and out, but I'm going to take a stand against the Duchamps who have a fucked up system. I'm going to take a stand against Barbatorum, and I'm going to try and work towards this goal of this inspiring young upstart Blake trying to back like this cool shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's such a good arc.
Making that stand alongside Blake really helped push things along.
Yeah, exactly. Like donating the main ads to help kill some Duchamp husbands. Like when you think about it from his perspective, like, can you imagine sending some hitmen after your ex-wife / separated wife's like sister? Like,
hey, look, they were still technically together at the end of the story. I'm pretty sure. I've still got my fingers crossed because, I think my answer to that question would be Sandra.
Yeah,
just because what I loved about Sandra, particularly as a character, is how much I still loved her, even though I think I shouldn't. Like, she was so emblematic of everything that was wrong.
She's exactly what's wrong with the system, but she's such a good-hearted person.
I still found myself like it. And I think that dissonance between me really not wanting... And, like, Miss Lewis had the same kind of vibe, but I think...
But you find out more... Like, by the end of the story, I'm against Miss Lewis, where I'm never really against Sandra, even in Arc 13.
Sandra was something who, throughout the entire story, I kept trying to make myself hate, and I couldn't, and I love that sort of character. Yeah. So, like, I think my answer to that would be Sandra.
Yeah, fair enough. We got a question by Thoki who says, didn't I read somewhere that Wildbow would be answering questions on here or something? How is that going to work? Yes, we have Wildbow coming on for an interview. If you want to go to bit.ly/APU details, that stands for All Packed Up Details, APU details, you can see the full schedule in your local time zone. Wildbow's segment on there is called Word of God Feat Wildbow. We'll be asking him questions, talking about all this cool stuff with him, diving into his process, how he feels about Pact 5 years later, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think the link to the schedule is in like below the stream as well if you're on the Twitch website in the like All Packed Up description. So you can find it there. It should tell you when it's happening in your time zone.
Yes. Reading through Twitch, sorry, we're a bit behind on chat, so I'm just trying to catch up. Here's a question from Smemen. Interesting. Quick question, Elliot. Would you have made it through the entirety of Pact if it wasn't for us doing this podcast?
Yeah, I think I would have. I think I would have made it through a lot quicker and missed a lot more. But I think this is the sort of story... I think we talked about this when we first started. I'm a bit of a sucker for modern supernatural stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we used to really get into Supernatural, the TV show, which is like Pact but worse.
Yeah,
I think we can say it's like Pact but worse.
Yeah. So I think part of the reason we went for this podcast is because Ruben knew that I'd probably like this, and based on the brief description, I knew I'd probably get into it. Yeah. So I'm very glad we did it this way because I got so much more out of it doing it this way. But I would have definitely finished it. Very quickly, if we hadn't. Yeah,
this is something that I know Scott and Matt have talked about as well, which is this vibe of like, Matt specifically, talking about how different it is reading through Worm as a person who is like just binging it and you finish it in 4 weeks or something, as compared to doing it chapter by chapter during the kind of following the publication schedule. I mean, not really, but for We've Got Worm, but more or less. It's so different, the idea of actually now I can pay attention to the themes of the story.
Yeah, I do. There is part of me that wished we had done like maybe bigger I don't know. I definitely felt a lot in Deep Impact. I was sometimes losing the forest for the trees as we were going through.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that's what's been fun about like We've Got Ward is the way they're following it, but they've got the whole community with them. And I think that helps, and also Scott and Matt are just really brilliant.
Well, the thing I like about We've Got Ward is I read the chapter first on my own in my normal like binge through it style, and then I'm like, and then I listen to We've Got Ward, or I read the Discord chat.
You get so much more
and it's like, oh shit, oh yeah, that is actually like hinting at this thing that I completely like ignored.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm curious now. I'm trying to think of what's the biggest thing that I felt like I missed going through it. I need to think about that a bit more.
I mean, I do remember that we had a discussion question about what Mags and Molly would be like if Molly was Mags' familiar.
Yes.
Because you forgot that didn't happen.
I didn't forget. I knew it. I thought it'd be an interesting question to stimulate.
No, I do. But didn't you say like when you first hit it, you're like, oh, I don't remember that. Oh wait, yes, of course. Like there was a moment where you're like,
you're right. I had this moment of like, wait, Molly's becoming Mags' familiar? And then I read ahead a few chapters and I was like, oh wait, no, that never ended up happening.
I remember going through so much of that when I listened to We've Got Worm after binging Worm the first time. Like just hearing bits of me, like, I totally forgot.
See, the thing that gets me in Worm is how many people, myself included, are 100% ride or die Taylor until the very end. Even when, and I'm ashamed of myself for not noticing this or like caring about it the first time. Even when she shoots a baby, and I'm like, yeah, Taylor, you made the right decision.
No, I completely agree. Like I was just riding Taylor's wild ride for most of Worm, and then then listening to We've Got Worm, you just say, oh boy.
Now, DDev has said that you have to drink the Forsworn drink, but it's only water. So I'm going to enforce a little bit of a house rule that I'm going to add something else to it.
Yeah, well, why don't you add something for me then?
Yeah, so for those of you listening along at home in the podcast, skip ahead 30 seconds while I fill this up with alcohol.
Let me continue to try and catch up on the chat. So lean right over here and fail to operate a Mac.
You got it, Elliot. I believe in you. This is...
Arc 13 is great.
I'd love for you to hear what I think is one of my favourite cocktails. It's a classic cocktail, one that I usually get when I go to a bar. It's called a G&W, a gin and water. So please enjoy that.
Yep.
Thank you, DDev, for that one. So continuing through chat. Well, I wanted to touch on... does that not sit?
No, it's good, actually.
Oh, yeah, okay. It's just gin, but watered down,
Yeah, exactly.
Did you finish it off or just have some?
No, I had about
cool. We'll add more junk to it later when people donate $10. So this isn't a question, but I think it's something that's really interesting for us to talk about, which was a comment in the Twitch by a user called Judy, who says that, and this is something that we were kind of curious about, there's somebody who has only read Pact. They haven't read Worm or Ward. And so they found Pact. They found us through Pact and not through any of the other Diff Media shows, which I think is always something that we were curious about if that actually existed.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I think it's really interesting. And I think it's interesting to think about how does Pact work in isolation of Worm or Ward?
Yeah. I mean, I think it would.
I mean, it's obviously a standalone story, so it's completely by itself. But the thing that's interesting to me about Pact is it does feel like... I mean... Worm, at its core, and this is going to be a bit of Worm spoilers, so if you haven't read Worm, I'm impressed. And Judy, actually, no, I want to avoid Worm spoilers, so I'll talk thematically then. Themes of Worm include things like things getting worse, and somebody trying to do good, but even if they're trying to do good, situations comes by that mean they can never really do good without things just getting worse and worse and worse.
Yep.
And that is reflected in Pact, but in Pact, we get this beautiful ending of Blake's sacrifices and all the effort he's put in is achieving a goal. And so to me, it does feel like Pact is in some ways a response to Worm of, actually things can work out.
I think Warburg explicitly mentioned at one point.
A clarification here from Drunk Peter that says, Taylor... Oh, and this is also Worm spoilers. Sorry, Judy. This is also a bit of Worm spoilers. Drunk Peter says it was a toddler, not a baby. We'll get to some of these other ones in a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sorry, Judy. I know I've just realised that we spoiled some stuff in Worm for you.
I think it's interesting because something Warburg explicitly said, talking off what you were just going on. Warburg's mentioned that a lot of his protagonists are often responses to the previous protagonists.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Ward works.
It feels so on point for Pact.
Yeah. And I think that's why Ward works so well as the fourth one, because I think Victoria, I haven't read Twig, but I assume Victoria works as a response to Sai and to Taylor. She definitely works as a response to Taylor.
Yes.
But I also love Blake as a response to Taylor.
I've read the first half of Twig or so.
Yeah.
Sai is a character who's very analytical and defined by he's very good at calculating how he should respond to people.
And I can see how someone like that fit, if it's a sine wave.
Yes.
Someone and Blake and Victoria are the peaks. I can see Sai
and Victoria is someone who really wants to connect with people, but from an emotional perspective, not from a manipulative perspective.
Yeah.
Which I think is such an interesting counterpoint to Sai.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I actually do think Pact is an interesting counterpoint to Worm's, not necessarily pessimism, but kind of darkness. And darkness, but in a way that,
I mean, Pact has plenty of its own darkness. That's part of what makes its message so effective.
Yeah. Here's a question from Hero of Old Iron. The question is, what the fuck is with Poke? And the answer to that is, stay tuned.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a whole segment on it. But I have a lot of very, very strong opinions on Poke. Most of them good, but it's such a wild ride.
Yeah, we're so behind on chat. We've just got a question from Kipos that says, why is Elliot sucking beasts? And the answer is you have to ask Elliot. Elliot, why are you sucking beasts?
That's my goblin name.
That's your goblin name. Oh, yeah, licking beast. Sorry, beast licker.
Same diff.
Okay. We've got 4 chapters of Poke now. That's not really a question, just a statement.
Yes.
I'm just kind of.
But we did
desperately
account for
catching up.
that. We were working on our poke notes as the 4th chapter got published, which was very fun.
So Corona has asked us a question. Corona Gem has said, "What would be your most and least favorite Pact characters to be in the room for the rest of the live stream?" So not just like from a story perspective, but who would we want around us?
Yeah, well, I mean, like
Evan.
a demon.
Evan is obviously.
Yeah. Oh,
the one
I
I'd
was
want
starting on
here.
the negative side.
Okay,
yeah.
let's start
Like,
now.
obviously, a demon would not be great.
Yeah.
Like Orneus, probably not someone we want around.
No, let's rule out demons. Is there?
We can
any...
always say that 5 more times on the stream.
Yeah,
by the
sure.
way.
Sorry. That's. Do we say that name?
No, I
already?
don't think we have.
Okay, let's be careful how many times we
Yeah,
say that,
yeah.
because I think if we say that name 7 times, we'll have to drink from the Force Water.
Yeah, that's fair. So that's 1.
Keep us to task on that if you can, chat. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. So least favorite in the room. It seems too easy to say Goblin. Like honestly, as much as I love him in the story, I don't think I want to hang out with Peter.
Yeah, I agree. He would be a bit annoying to be on stream with.
Maybe Roxanne, just because she might stab me, or Eva.
I feel like I would want like a Paige or a Molly in the room, because I feel like they would be really good at, or a Rose, really good at like helping manage chat, and like from a production standpoint, they'd be a good like producer for the show. So Paige, I think, is my most.
You know what? I'm just gonna put it out there. I liked the cut of Isadora's jib.
Oh yeah, she'd be good.
I could.
And she'd keep us
just
to
have to-
task for not lying as well with the Force Wandering.
Yeah, and I think. I think I just have to make sure I didn't ask her any questions.
Yeah.
But
Well,
overall,
she didn't ask us
oh,
questions.
so they didn't answer her questions. Yeah.
And I think the least favorite is, you guys can't see this, but we're actually streaming. There's a window right in front of us. So Defenestration Man would probably be a bad pick, because he'd appear in the background. He'd come up to us and throw us out the window, and you guys would be like, watch out, watch out. But we wouldn't notice.
Yeah. I mean, luckily we're on the 1st floor, so it hopefully wouldn't be quite as deadly. But
Yeah,
it would
true.
be
It's a
annoying.
ground floor here. Yeah, it would really disrupt the stream, and that's the problem. We got a question from Thoki, who says, "Do you think Pact encourages any specific way of changing the system, or does it just give pros and cons of many?"
I definitely think at its core, it's about saying that you have to try and you have to believe that you can.
Yeah.
That's the most important.
Yeah,
part.
it's the effort that you go through to
Yeah.
kind of try and do it.
Whether it's to something specific, I think you kind of lose those specifics in the metaphors. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where Jay ended up in terms of getting through Pact. We'll probably start to talk about some of this in our segment with Jay.
Well, we do have we're chatting with Jay again
well,
in
there's
like
no way
12 or 13 hours. I don't know.
there's no way
Long
this won't
into
come
the
up.
future.
But yeah, like I don't know how much I want to hold on to specifics when talking about a metaphor like this, but I'd say the core message I took from it was just, you've got to try and you've got to think that it's possible, because if you give up on that, then you've already lost.
Yeah. Let's round out this segment and then we'll get back to... So we have...
Oh, gosh.
Oh, God, guys, you're really ruining this here. So we've got some interesting donations. Fundafulness donated $20, and we'll get to the Innominous box in a second. Hero of Old Eye and Hero of Loving the Blake One gave us a $2 donation and said, Orneus.
Kyrgyzstan also gave us a $2 donation and said Orneus.
And
so that's
Fundafulness
3.
again just donated and said Orneus.
Orneus, okay.
So we're now at
oh,
4
no, I just said it too.
Orneuses.
No,
No.
you said it.
Is that 6?
Okay, yeah, that's 6.
That's
okay.
6. Oh, fuck.
We're out.
We're really in trouble now. So nobody else do that funny joke that just happened. Fundafulness, we'll get back to your Innominous box in a second. Let's run through some of these questions a bit quicker, because we're
try
going to
and
run
catch
out of time. Yeah.
Yep.
Synth said, "Do you think Blake's killing spree and breaking of the Duchamp family might actually have helped Sandra and Jeremy's relationship in the long run?" Now,
That's
I'm going to start
interesting.
with this, because I think there's 2 things that of Pact are more important to me than anything else, and I'm really disappointed we didn't get any note on them in the epilogue. One is Peter and Ainsley's relationship, and one is Jeremy and Sandra's relationship.
Okay, first of all, I think Peter and Ainsley's was addressed in 1613 when Rose and
Well, they
Paige
sent off
did have
them
that moment
together,
where they're
yeah.
like, that's not going to work out.
Yes, but I still have hope. Okay. I still have
I think it'd be a fun ride. Yeah, I do agree. Jeremy and Sandra are people I would love to see in, like, show up in Poke or something.
Oh, no.
Oh dear, that's a $2 donation. I don't know if we want to read. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So, yeah, Aquabutter has given us a $2 donation, and unfortunately, that donation says Ornios,
Yes.
which is not anything, so that's fine. We actually just got another donation from Smeman, who says, or gets face smashed in by Mags.
Nice.
Thank you, guys.
That's a good reference.
We're still safe.
That was the end of 1612, I think.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, yeah, I think it's interesting looking at what Blake did to the Duchamp family with the whole thing behind us because, did it help? Was it a good thing?
Yeah.
I feel like when Blake thinks on it later, and we know how Blake is with thinking on things later. He managed to do it one time, and he did think, "Oh, I don't recognize myself there." So I'd like to think it wasn't the right way to go about things, but it.
Yeah.
I mean, did it help? Like, I think you'd have to argue it kind of did.
Yeah.
Like, we're getting into very Cauldron-esque.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting into the
here,
morality argument here. And I think we got some comments in chat that are saying, why, but we're being unfair to Taylor here, talking about the toddler stuff. But yeah, it's the same thing of like, what, and I think I don't think there's an answer put forward by Walbo in either of these stories, in Worm or Pact.
Well, that's what I like about these long-form stories, is it isn't usually as simple as yes. Yeah. There are things where I think you can imply from the story what Walbo tends to think.
Yeah.
But it's more an exploration of themes rather than a statement on a theme in these long stories. And that's why I really like them, is because it's arguments within the world about what is this saying. And I think Arc 13 was basically, hey, is the violent revolution helpful? So
someone's just called out a really good comparison between Sylvester and Blake, which is Sylvester is a planner while Blake is a planner, which was Ishimoritan. So that was honestly hilarious. So congratulations. I think this is Scott who is asking, Elliot, why did you totally copy his look but make it better? This is just for the people on stream. This is useless for people on the podcast.
Genetics. I didn't fully choose this. The hairline started receding on its own, and the first time I shaved and didn't have a beard, I looked awful, so I grew the beard.
Yep. I'm looking for more questions. We're almost caught up to chat. People are asking us to spoil the rest of Worm, but let's kind of keep it.
No, light. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. And people are talking about how the O word has almost been said too many times. And I think
I hope no one donates it, because I'd much rather it be one of us stuffs up
exactly.
than gets forced to do it.
Let us fuck it up, because I'm sure we're going to say that name one more time.
Yeah, exactly. I think one of us will stuff up.
I mean, we're going to run out of time. I guess, do we have any other final thoughts about Pact? This is the last episode that's going to appear on Deep Impact in the feed until we do some like bonusy stuff, which might show up there.
Yeah.
Should we just do like a thanks everyone for joining us?
Yeah.
Like live stream aside, obviously we've got 22 more hours to go through here. And already I'm starting to feel it, which is a bad sign. But like, honestly, when we started to do this show, we joined Doof Media about Arc 3 or 4.
I was towards the end of Arc 2, I think.
Yeah.
But even then, I kind of thought,
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But it's honestly been such a important experience.
Yeah.
It's kind of bonkers.
Matt and Scott have often joked about how they saw what our schedule plan was and said, well, they won't do that.
They won't last.
And the truth is, we wouldn't have if they hadn't been kind enough to bring us into Doof, and then if the Doof community hadn't backed us like it did.
Let's do a bit of goss. Should we do a bit of goss? Because my goss, and I know your face is showing me like...
I have no idea where you're going with this.
No, the goss is, when we started Deep Impact, I mean, we took a format that we knew was already kind of successful, and we were thinking to ourselves, like, this is a fun thing to do, and if we like it, we'll see if we can convince Scott and Matt to let us join the network, right? That was always on the cards. And
we wanted to do some kind of team up. I think our dream back then was a crossover or something, or just getting one of them to guest.
Yeah, but we've gotten to this point of being on the network, and honestly, being on the network has changed what this show is so much.
Oh, absolutely.
It's made it so much more of an experience for the two of us, I think. Because before it was just the two of us kind of podcasting into a void. And having the Discord and all this stuff, it's like...
Yeah, Media MD was really just a hobby, and then all packed up, especially when we got picked up by Doof, really turned into, oh, wow, this is like a thing now. Yeah.
I got some bad news, Elliot. Drunk Peter says, $2 donation. Love you guys and your show. Really helped me appreciate Pact more. Akubuddha has said, Orny is too bad. Oh, pass me the drink. I said it. I'm so sorry. Oh, thank you, Buddha. But also, What is this? This is water and gin.
It's half over water and gin.
So we got a $10 donation from Vale as well. I'm going to just use that excuse to add a bit more to this.
Yes. Okay.
Something disgusting.
No, we will do some more. I think we might be hitting this cognitive dissonance where for the Americans it's nighttime, so they're encouraging us to drink, not realizing it's like 2 in the afternoon here, and people are going to think we have a problem.
I mean, it's Australia. I guess that's where we're going to end this final episode on us starting to get drunk into this 22-hour live stream.
Yeah. So we're going to duck out for a minute because we've got to connect with Scott and Matt.
Yeah.
As we get set up for our.
It's Pact Fates.
Yeah, it's our RPG.
I've had too much alcohol and I've still got more to do.
Yeah. So we really didn't get into our
a whiskey and gin. I'm just going to put it out there. Not a good cocktail. Sorry, whiskey, gin, and water.
Right. Yeah. That's not too surprising, really.
It's not a good cocktail.
But yeah, okay. We'll see everyone later. Thanks for joining us.
Again, thanks for joining us. Thanks for checking out the show. These live, if you're listening to the podcast on the feed, these live stream bits are probably going to go on YouTube at some point. So you can check out the Duff Media YouTube there. Check out duffmedia.com. Check out patreon.com/duffmedia. And of course, thank you to the big man himself, Wildbo. Check out patreon.com/Wildbo because he made the show possible.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we talk about how it wouldn't have existed without Matt and Scott as it did. Obviously, it wouldn't have existed without Wildbo and this fantastic story.
I mean, what would it have looked like without Wildbo? It's a weird question, isn't it?
The 24 hours would have been a lot emptier, I think.
What would the 24-hour live stream be? Just a black screen. Anyway.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you so much, everyone.
And we'll see you in the next thing.
Yes, we'll see you in a bit.
We're going to go to intermediate scene. And we'll see you in a bit for Pact Fates. Stay tuned for a few minutes.